Hi, this is Brandy Horn. I'm an instruction and reference librarian at the Greg Graniteville Library. The purpose of this video is to show you how to search the library's catalog for books that you could potentially use as sources for your research paper for English 102. Before I launch into that, I just want to show you very quickly when you're accessing online resources from off campus, and that's going to include ebooks and databases. On the library's homepage, in these red search boxes or these red boxes along the bottom here, you will see a box that says Off-Campus Access. If you click that, that takes you to a page where there's the video, there's an infographic, and then in the center here it shows you how to log into library resources off campus, and then what to do if you run into problems with that. Because most people run into problems with that. There's an issue that originates in Columbia and it impacts all the campuses. So if you cannot access a database or an ebook with your credentials, come to this page and go through these steps to address that problem. It's not a problem that originates from the library. We can't fix it, but we've given instructions for how to work through that. And if you still run into problems, you'll need to contact the help desk. But we do have this here to get you through that. Back to the library's homepage. So when you first get to the library's homepage, you'll see that there's a center search box. And in that search box, you'll notice that it defaults to the Books and Media tab. That's how you look for books in the library's catalog. You notice that there are other tabs, databases, research guides, and we'll look at the research guides tab in another video. But right now we're just going to focus on the catalog. So for the purpose of this assignment, you've chosen a specific work that you want to look at or that you're going to examine in your paper. And in order to find information on that work in our catalog, you don't necessarily want to search the title of that work because you'll probably just get the work itself or things that contain it. But what you might want to search, or what you would want to search, is the author's name. Notice that the drop down next to the search box defaults to keyword, which is what we will be using. But you also have the option to search for title, which is not helpful. If you just search the title, you would just find that thing. And then author. Now, you don't want to search your author's name as author because then you will just find other things written by that person. So we're going to leave it on keyword. And let's say that I'm interested in looking at a short story by Flannery O'Connor. And so I'm going to search Flannery O'Connor as a keyword. When you're searching people's names, you're going to search their last name first. So it's last name, comma, first name. So we're going to do O'Connor, Flannery, O'Connor, comma, Flannery. Okay? And then we're going to search that. Okay. So I see that I have 191 results. And as I look at my results, I see that there are print items, right? And we could tell they're print because it says book and it's got call numbers. Okay, that would correspond to their location on the shelf. But for right now, since the campus is closed and the library building is closed, print items are not going to be useful because you're not going to be able to get to them. So what you can do at the very top of your results page where it says modify search, okay, if you click modify search, where it says material type here, you can scroll down to the bottom and limit to eBooks and then click submit. And that takes all of the print items out of the results list and it leaves us with just eBooks. Okay, so you can go through, and we went down to 100, or not 100, we went down to 89 results, which is still a lot, but it's manageable. Okay, or it's better than where we were at. And so now we have a bunch of ebooks. Another thing that you can do to limit, okay, because what we're going to have here in this list are all the things by Flannery O'Connor and all the things about Flannery O'Connor. So if we go back up to this drop down where it was keyword as a default before and we click on it, we'll notice that there are more options in that drop-down, and one of those options is subject. At this point, since we still have a lot of items that show up in the results page, we can search Flannery O'Connor as a subject and then click search. And that gives us a different type of results page. That kind of gives us the different categories of works relating to Flannery O'Connor. If you have Flannery O'Connor by herself, chances are that's going to be biographical stuff, okay, things about the author herself, okay. If we go back, you'll notice that there's correspondence, okay, again, that's print in this case, but those are going to be letters that they've written to people. But then also notice that we have criticism and interpretation. We can click that. And we have things that are going, like I said, literary criticism and interpretation analysis of her works. Now, unfortunately, when you do this, it incorporates the print back into the results list. So you can go back up to limit sort at the top here. And again, under material type, you want to limit to eBooks. And then scroll down and click submit. Okay, so now we're down to 17 ebooks about Flannery O'Connor specific to criticism and interpretation. If any of these titles look like they could potentially be useful to you, right, you scroll through, if anything looks like it might be interesting, then what you can do, let me go back up to the top, you click on the title, and the link that appears under Connect To, sometimes there's one link. If there's just one, you'll click on it. If there are multiple links, you'll click the one that says Aiken. You'll click on that, select your campus, and if I forgot that I was logged in, but it will prompt you to log in, and it wants your network username, which is the first part of your email, and your Blackboard password. And that's how you'll log into databases on campus. Again, if you run into problems, that red box on the home page is where you'll go to troubleshoot. But to get into library resources from off campus, it's the first part of your email, and your Blackboard password should get you in. Okay. So now that I'm in, right, I'm looking at the ebook. Okay. We do have full text download and stuff on the left hand side, but if you scroll down to the bottom to the table of contents, you can look at the different chapters and see if there are chapters here that seem to relate to what you're looking at specifically, right? Maybe I'm interested in religion in Flannery O'Connor's writing, so this thing about grinning devils and ludicrous saints you know, could potentially be useful to me. So maybe I click on that chapter. Okay, the text appears on the right. The table of contents appears on the left. You can just scroll through and read through the chapter if you want. Another thing that you can do to kind of help explore this work to see if it could potentially be useful to you is to click the search within here at the top. And then if there is a specific concept that you're interested in, maybe I'm interested in faith, it will show me each instance where that word appears in the text. So we see it highlighted, and I can go through and I can read to see how it's being discussed. I can read the context that the concept is being used in, and make a quick determination as to whether or not this could be potentially useful to me. If there are multiple concepts I'm interested in, I could check all of those. And again, it's a quick way to decide whether or not this book would be useful without having to read the entire book. So when you come into this database, you can click the search within, right? And then you can search for those concepts. Back to our results list. At this point, you know, you go through and you see which ones are potentially useful to you and which ones are not. And that's how you'll use the catalog to search for ebooks. If you have any questions, you can always email me about it. but this should be enough to get you started, again, using just the library catalog. Next video, we're going to look at databases. See you back in a bit.